Hello and welcome to Film Slam Stream's post-film conversation for Infinity. My name is Eric Seiler, and I'm an instructor of film, media arts, and communications, as well as moderator for this conversation. We are very pleased to be joined by the writers, producers, directors, music composer, everything for this wonderful film. We have with us Marion Tamar and GNL Zanba. They're joining us from LA today. Hello to the both of you.
Hi, Eric.
Hi, Eric.
Hi, and everyone who's joining us today.
It's good to have the both of you here. I feel like it's a treat. Usually we had the filmmakers, but not only just the filmmakers, we have the stars in the film as well too. So we can see, in front of the camera and behind the camera. So it's great that our viewers can be fanning over you as well in this way. But this film, I understand that it grew out of music and that the two of you are not just business partners, but partners in real life. Can you just briefly tell me how you two came together to create this project?
Yeah, sure. So yes, we've started out as a music duo called Ensimbi. So we've been making music together for several years. We had our first album entitled Simbi, and then we went to create our second project, Infinity, which we were writing the music to just before and during COVID, when it was a really challenging time. In some ways, it feels like a distant fog of a memory, and we're also still living it with the political atmosphere and social atmosphere of all these divisions. And yeah, we're a couple, we're a relationship, and we're very aware of divisions and always in these types of conversations. So we wanted to take that to the music. I think you can speak more on it.
Yeah, everything grows out of music. And even if you're the person who believes in the Bible, apparently, Bible or not, sound arranges particles to form, to create form. So even for us, I think our creation process mimics sound and sound influencing character. So first, the music and the creation process was out of the need to bridge two worlds. My wife's world from Boston and Uganda, and also the need to remind people that we have so much in common. And I come from this place called Uganda, which is one of the most diverse places on earth, and it has very old cultures, and music is very central to everything that we do. There is a song for birth, there's a song for death, there's a song for a child being 5 years, there's a song for being old, there's a song for nearly everything. So it was the perfect backdrop for us to create this, and it provided the seed to give fruit to this film.
Absolutely, like a song for rain that gave
Yes.
gave birth. One thing about this film is the music is strong and the visual images are just as strong too. When you were creating the music, which I believe came first, were you thinking about a film, or did the film idea come later?
So with our music, each song is like you're imagining a world. So you are visualizing it, not to the detail, of course, of film and scripting and creating a narrative connecting, but even when you're writing lyrics, or for us, everyone has their own lyric writing style, but it's you have a theme, and building that world helps you to create the song. So there was the foundation of the kind of world we were living in or creating. But in terms of developing the story, that came later, figuring out, well, how do we put these songs in what order to tell a story, and what actually is the story, and who are we using? We're in there, we're the spirit guides, or we're helping to push the story along, but the real characters are the brother and sister.
Let's see. Okay. So let's talk about the actual production itself. GNL, you're from Uganda. I know, Mary, you spent enough time there to make connections with people. How did you get the performers? Did you know them? Did you audition on them? Tell us a little bit about that. You could take it the reins, Mary.
Lawnmower going by. We're just
Lawnmower going by.
It's
So,
fine.
yes.
So the cast. Yeah.
So,
talk
yeah.
about
So with the cast, there's this group of guys that I know from creating this genre of music called Luga Flow, which is again indigenous sounds. My background is rap music and this genre called Luga Flow, which takes hip hop back to the fireplace. So there are these guys I used to work with for music videos who are called Great Make. And we always made music videos before I moved over to Los Angeles. And to put together a crew, the director, who is Pest Matege, was a seasoned videographer, but he wasn't a videographer making music videos, but this is his first film, actually. And in Uganda, we also have a national theater, which is kind of a resource for finding talent, and it's like a confluence of people. So from retracing back in the day, or some of the people that we love hanging out with, or the people whose shows we love to watch, it was easy to say, such and such would be great to do the choreography for this, because she understands the concept of what we are trying to describe. And yeah, so the crew came together naturally for us, and yeah, people we had worked with in the past.
Yeah, I'll add that the choreographer and dance troupe, which are really also the stars of the film. It's very a dance heavy film. They're seasoned and have been in many productions, whereas the rest of the cast were first timers. So that was really cool. And we just, we had our friends and our team on WhatsApp saying, whose son or daughter wants to audition, send in a video. How do they show us you're very sad, or show us you're angry? Just how can you express these emotions visually? And so, and what other, we have the shaman. The shaman is actually
that's an interesting story.
A local leader in the fishing village where we shot. So when we were just looking for locations, we met him, and visually we were like, you're convincing. You can definitely be a shaman.
Besides the core crew, who are the gaffers and the cinematographer and the dancers, everybody else is from the community. We went and shot the film from.
Yeah, all the extras are from the community and participated.
The shaman is actually the leader, who would be like the local council chairman or the village chief, you would say, of that region. And we used the shop of, again, another LC1 chairman when we were shooting the radio scene. It's actually somebody's living room, and that system that you see in the song called the Suvi is the radio that the village uses to announce, to make advertisements, basically. So it was community around a crew that we had worked with.
Well, one thing I was really impressed by was the entire art direction, and you made sure that you made each shot so inviting. It's like, I want to be there. I want to experience this there. Tell us a little bit about, did you storyboard this? How did you two come up with the concepts for each scene and shooting location?
Yeah, we did do a heavy visual storyboard ahead, looking through other projects that have inspired us, but a lot of photography as well. Just beautiful imagery that we're like, somehow we have to work these in. Again, it's like you have the story, and then you're like, when does this shot make sense in the story?
Yes.
And it's such a beautiful location. It's Uganda is gorgeous, but then you have ways you can say, okay, we're in a fishing village, we're in a village, we're on a farm. How do we highlight this? What kind of shot? So it's more like collections of shots that we then said, this fits the theme of this song or this part of the story. And we were able to, I'd say it's really a puzzle piece. That's how we put together the whole project, because it was the music, the visuals, and the story. And it's like, how do we, because you're not just starting from scratch, you have all these pieces and just, anything to add to that?
Allow me to brag about Uganda. Uganda is so beautiful. The lake is so blue. Lake Nalubale, the way the locals call it, but geographically they call it Victoria because of the colonialism and the legacy that has. But when you fly over Uganda, it's so green, and somehow you see shades of green that you don't see elsewhere. So we wanted to really portray how rich it is, and its soil, and how warm its people are. That was one of the things most of our art wants to portray this region as. If you felt like going to such a place, then we have achieved our mission, because we want to change this negative stereotype they have of regions like Uganda. So if art like this invites people to Uganda, that would part of our purpose is served. I want to hint a little bit about what you said of the visual elements that were guiding us. We sort of have a cheat code or something which we feel kind of helps our creativity from the conversations that we have. So I don't know how many people are familiar with the chakra system. The chakra system is this energy. It's a map of the body which is mapped and coded with colors. It's the system that comes out of India, religions in India, but the whole body is mapped out according to colors and according to energy centers, coming from red at the bottom being the root chakra to purple being the crown. So for us, even those colors were very intentional in what we wanted the songs to appeal to, or what kind of energy that we wanted to give out. You're going to see purple when we are giving regal messages, royal messages. We're going to see green when there's love being portrayed. You're going to see orange. You're going to see blue when we are speaking, and it's the throat chakra, which is empowering. So part of that color also guided the aesthetic and also the visual.
Let's see. So with this said, what you talked about in terms of creating the imagery, what were some of your goals going into this? Did you want to educate people more about Uganda? Did you want to talk more about different elements like love and life and rain?
Yes.
Or what were some of the goals?
All of the above.
Yeah, I was going to say, so definitely we see our art as in the genre more of edutainment. There's definitely always a educational element. And yeah, I think it looks like it's so many different themes, like nature, energy, diversity, human origin. But I think what we're trying to pull together is that they're all interconnected. And again, I'm a Jewish girl from Boston, and we have my Ugandan husband. He has his traditional values, but also is raised as a Christian, which he's moved away from more, but just looking at what do all these have in common? So whether we're looking at proverbs or sayings or values from any of these ancient cultures, and then the way it ties into the chakra system, there's just so much overlap. I think we're just trying to express the overlap in the face of division, where people are trying to show how different we are, and we're like, but foundationally, everything keeps overlapping.
Yes, what's the core, and what were these ancestral stories trying to tell us? What is the wisdom? What lies behind the wisdom of all of these ancient cultures, and what unites us is the origins of where we are and our humanity at the core of it all. Yeah,
and I would say if you think about rain or harvesting or weather, those are kind of the root chakras, the living, the survival. But in any community, we then create art, or we have other traditions. We're trying to get to this higher level of living beyond just the day-to-day, but like, what's our value? What's our meaning? What makes us feel that we have meaning in society? So it's wherever you are, you have these layers of being that inform all of these systems. So it's kind of a lot being synthesized into
if I were just to add on one thing for a minute, it's in Africa, we have this system of learning where there's no TV, there's no phones, but you all just sit around a fire. And when you all sit around the fire, you listen to what the kids are saying. The kids learn from the older generations of the parents, and the parents also all have these different elements that they're sharing. But essentially, all of those bits that are being shared, the guidance or the advice or the entertainment of it, is just meant to guide you through this journey called life, and how you should have a better experience going through it, and how you interact with others through it. So that's basically what this film is like. It's that fire conversation.
It indeed is. And what one major element in the film was the use of you, Miriam, in the film, throughout the film, because just showing yourself amongst the other Ugandan people. How did you want people to interpret that? I have my own interpretation of, the oneness and love of this one world, and, we're all coming out of, ancestral spirit. People can, create a sense of oneness in today. Is that what you wanted people to see by having you placed in the film?
Yeah, well, that's always something with our art, we struggle with. And it's interesting because when you're looking at color and race and identity, how things are perceived in Uganda and East Africa versus the States, where we have such different histories, a lot in common, but very, there's different connotations. So we, for the most part, tried to keep the two of us out of most of the scenes within the community. We did it a little bit here and there just to show that there is the interaction, but more, we wanted us to be the pair of sort of these spirit guides, or people kind of the narrators that tap into the story here and there. But yeah, it's also interesting because I think that Zamba mentioned that Uganda is one of the most diverse countries in the world. There's actually 65 plus tribes. Again, which as Americans, we're not going to necessarily pick up on all the differences. We try to use some different wardrobes and different things to represent. So the idea of what is diversity is interesting to think about, and how do we interact and connect and engage with each other. And I think just this, there's this discomfort, I think definitely from the US perspective, of seeing someone, or just one, it's me, I'm saying, well, what spectrum of type of people do we need to be in this project to make it okay? And sometimes it's just being able to then have the dialogue or talk about, being the only one in the room, which is something I know my husband experiences here in the US a lot, versus me being maybe only the white American in the room in a certain setting, or when we're with his family or community. So there's that oneness, but there's that struggle of comfort and identity, and I think discomfort is important too.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So one of the things I wanted to talk about was, we had a discussion together, and we had a discussion with the director and the team, and we're talking about how we didn't want to portray shots that show white saviorism in the film, because that's not, again, what we want to portray with this film. Our film was about showing the oneness and how all of these different tribes of humanity can be, can interact with each other. So there were shots we actually took out. There were shots that we didn't want to show. And yeah, so basically we are very careful at the end of the day how we portray each other in each other's settings. We have a video called Muje, which is basically about coming together, which we did before this film. And in that, again, we were also very cautious in how we let the dancers dance around Miriam and have people also of other colors.
Or not dance around.
Or not dance around her. Or,
but it's...
If it's about people of color, whether it's about, each one has to play certain roles so that we don't have any of those mixed messages. Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm saying it's hard to, everyone has their own reactions or feelings, and it's, how do you share a screen and be in the same place and avoid that? It's something we're now, history has made it so we can't avoid that discomfort or that conversation. But that's what we need to do, is have that conversation about how we be in each other's spaces.
Yeah.
Exactly, and that's the key word you said, Miriam, being in each other's spaces, because maybe the people watching this know that Uganda used to be a colony of Britain,
Yes.
and in this film you showed that, I thought you were like someone who was British and you're part of the culture, part of the space. You just didn't abandon Uganda, you embraced it, and showing that other people can embrace it and looking at the history and so forth. And that's why that was my interpretation of it as well, too. So.
Oh yeah, that's very interesting.
That's a really cool interpretation.
Okay.
And yeah, and there are people.
But correction, sorry for cutting you off. Sorry. I will dress her up in a what they call more like a kanzu. We wanted her to be more Arabic than British.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't in a corset or anything. It was more like flowy dress, and
right.
Because the Arabs also had a very different relationship with people from Uganda, and how we kept on trading salt and all these other things. The whole East African coast, all the way from Somalia, Ethiopia, all the way to Zimbabwe, Tanzania, and Kenya, all is a source of so much intermarriage. That if you study it, it's also a very rich history where you have Asians from China.
Right, pre-colonization.
Pre-colonization,
all the trade routes and the Swahili. So that's the thing. It's like, this is a topic or area or history that people don't know much. There's so many layers and years, and we tend to focus on what is what the narratives that keep getting pushed.
Right. Right.
And there's a deeper context and history, and we can't even begin to.
You can't, and that's what makes this film so remarkable. There's so much. If you look at it at face value, people might say, "Oh, that's nice, a nice African video," and so forth. But there's so much more. It's so deep. To it. I can see. I hope, if you haven't done this already, hope you consider creating a guide for this, or getting a grant of funding to create a guide to go along with this. To since you've been in education.
As a great idea, we'll contact you about that, because we need help in that direction. Yes.
Yes, I hope so. So, what's next for the? Oh, well, before I ask what's next, tell us a little bit about the reception of this film as it's played in festivals, and how did the Ugandan people receive the film?
Yeah. So the film is still going around in festivals. The people in Uganda have not seen it, except for the out of the people who are part of the film, editing it and creating special effects, part of the post-production team. They're the only people who have seen it. And my nephew has also had a chance to see
a hidden drive somewhere.
Like, where did you find this? Is like, yeah, I watched your film. Which was a little careless of me, but he told me he enjoyed the film and he's keeping it safely. But in terms of how the different festivals have received it, the children love it. And we are glad that people from educational places are also loving it, because again, this is a film to start conversations, like spark around that fire, you know. How can we begin having these conversations? So that's one of the things that we are really proud of to be a part of.
Yeah, and I'd say we had hoped to be in Uganda sooner. We're preparing to do it like the official red carpet premiere event with the entire team, and then inviting audiences before it goes online. I'm like, this is I'm pregnant. This is a personal thing, but it's affected our travel and our things. So we're working around that, and that got a little bit delayed. And we've also had to be a little bit careful because unfortunately in Uganda, copyright and privacy of intellectual property can be a little bit complicated. So we've been a little bit careful with that in terms of staging out the project. But ultimately, after it's been going through festivals, and we especially feel great because, again, this is our first film and we didn't really think about how long it was. And it is a long film for a short film. Yeah. So we're excited that it's been received in the places it's been received, even though it doesn't necessarily fit the normal criteria.
Yeah. I'm really glad that it's long, because it allowed us the space to also tell the story and create that narrative. About how it's being received, maybe what I can mention is that the song Mbaga and the song Rainfall, because they are also different. The song Mbaga is very well received, and it's a hit in Uganda.
It's used for all the weddings.
It's used for weddings, and you know, because it says Oraliro Mbaga, which means today is a day for celebration, today is a day for love. So that's a hit in Uganda, and people play the song on their wedding days. That's this little snippet before the film.
Yeah, I guess we've been able to share sections of the film in Uganda first, and then the full project is still making its way around. And
right, I see that. Even though you say it's a long short film, I mean, it can be segmented. You can create shorter films out of this. With that. Oh, real quick, I know we've gone over time, but this is such a
we're having a great time.
Yes. Oh, congratulations on your pregnancy, and but you must be thinking about doing something next besides just being parents. What do you have coming up, you think?
So there's a secret project. I don't know if we are ready to share about it, but there's a project that we have been both very passionate about, and we are trying to secure the funding for it. And it's more documentary. We'll see how it evolves, but it's going to be more documentary, film, and TV, very episodic, but it discovers the roots of music. So with all these diverse tribes and all these diverse cultures, we want to explore where essentially that music comes from. And that's all I can say for now.
Okay, that's fair enough. That sounds exciting. Wow, I expect to see the both of you again, hopefully, soon. And thank you so much for taking some time out to spend with us. And congratulations on the birth of your upcoming child and all your success with this film.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And we hope to see you in Uganda. Better make your way over there. And for everybody watching this, thank you for having us. And if you need to reach out to Uganda or find a way to visit the beautiful land of Uganda, which we call the Pearl of Africa, you can reach out to us through our social media or through our website at Nsimbi Music. Someone will be there to answer you, me or her. Yeah.
Thank you for that plug to visit East Africa. Great. Miriam, Tamar, and GNL Zambia, directors, producers, writers for Infinity. Thanks again.
Thank you so much.
And thank you to our audience for joining us for this important and invigorating conversation. For more information about our upcoming film festival, please visit us at clevelandfilm.org. I'm Eric Seiler. Thank you.